Friday and the last day of this course, and today we'll have our final exam. There are 30 questions, but only do 25 of them, so you can knock out 5 questions that you don't want to answer. Okay, that gives you plenty to choose from. So what did we learn? What's the takeaway on what we have for the past 2 weeks? Well, first 2 days we started out just actually reviewing a lot of the stuff we've done in previous courses. What's important to remember is I hope you learned how to do complex numbers again. Okay, there'll be a question on that. And the rest of the stuff I think you pretty well know pretty much how to do. Then we got into 3-phase currents. Basically, you've got 3 single-phase AC sources that work together, but they're each 120 degrees in phase separated from each other. The sum of the 3 will give you a net of 0 volts, okay? That's why we have that neutral point. Okay, it's called a neutral, all right, because it essentially adds up to 0 when they all 3 meet at the same point. When they don't meet at the same point, then you've got the delta configuration in series, and so we can extract a single phase from just across one of the coils. So you've got 3 ways of doing that. Okay, got 3 points, 3 nodal points, and you can extract from there. So if you have 120 volts across each coil, then basically you'll have a single phase 120 degree output. But each one will be different from the other by 120 degrees. Okay, that's the delta configuration. Okay, so 3-phase basically are either Y configuration or delta configuration, and there are 3 are all separated. So that's nice, but we understand that that's actually the source that comes from our power stations. So the power stations put out a 3-phase current to homes and businesses and whatever, but we don't use the high voltages that are supplied to us. Okay, we like to stick to most of our equipment runs on either 120 or 240 or 208, something 100, the 2 different voltage ranges. And so in order to step down from that, we have to use transformers. So this past week we learned how to do that. We learned there are a number of different ways that we can use transformers to go from a extremely high voltage down to lower voltages and more complex voltages. Maybe we'll have some lines that are 240 volts and some lines that are 120 volts. Okay, we can figure out a way we can separate those. But we may, in a lot of cases, in industrial places, we will run 3-phase motors. Basically, these are your induction motors, which we will learn about in another course. So we pick up all 3 phases to run our 3-phase motors. Okay, and so in order to do that, though, if we wanted to get 3 different phases down to a lower voltage, then we use 3 transformers, 1 for each phase. Okay, and then we can combine them in many different ways. So we learned how to do that. We learned that there's a problem with harmonics. Going back to transformers, I hope we learned a lot about transformers and how to use how to you do all of the step down and step up equations. Very simple. Just normally it's all dependent on the ampere turns, number of turns on the primary side versus the number of turns on the secondary side, okay, to give you a ratio. And basically that ratio is used to figure out voltages and currents between primary and secondary. Now, if you're looking for secondary currents, though, you really have to see what is being loaded on the secondary side to give you the current. And then you work backwards to figure out, if I need that secondary current, what do I need to add to what do I need to have in my primary current? Okay. So that's it. I think I've covered pretty much everything that's going to be on the exam. If you have any problems, give me a call and I might give you a hint. Okay. Test is not very hard. Basically, mainly interested in seeing if you see a configuration, can you identify it, and the different parts of that configurations, such as the H contacts versus the X contacts. And I'd like you also to remember what are the energy losses in a transformer, okay? All of that stuff, all of that information might be on the exam. And so good luck to you. We'll see you on the next course. The next course will be one that I really like. It's semiconductors, those of you that will be taking semiconductors. So basically, we're going to go from simple electrics to actual electronics and get into the 21st century. Okay, so good luck. See you again. I will give you your grades by Tuesday of next week.